Hey guys, this is Josh with the Gamers Lounge. Today I'm bringing you my final review of Blackguards 2. Yes, that rhymed. Wasn't intentional. Maybe. I'll never tell. So here's the thing. Blackguards 2 is a game that we actually got the capability to stream it when it was still in development. And I had a blast playing it, except for I got lost a couple times. That's because I don't read tutorials. It's a personal problem, nothing against Daylight Entertainment, who created this game. So, just kick it off, Blackguards 2 is what's the word I'm looking for? Blackguards 2 is the sequel to Blackguards 1, which was a turn-based RPG strategy game. Like its precursor, Blackguards 2 is also an RPG turn-based strategy game, and has a lot of very intense tactical elements. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys 3 different settings, or not really settings, but scenarios in the game. I'm going to kind of give you pros and cons about it, and then I'll give you my overall interpretation of the game. So I have 3 savings. What we're going to do first is we are going to go into the world of the game. So this isn't how you start the game. The tour actually takes you into part of the main character, who is a scorned queen, I guess would be the best way to describe her, who was cast out of her home by her sadistic husband. And she was driven mad by spider poison, and now she just wants to rule and take over in his place. So the world map is actually pretty simple in world map terms. I mean, you do have this really cool cloud thing, which is very artistic, but all in all, it is a world map. You can interact with certain places. You can go all the thing. One of the things I kind of don't really like about it. Oh, I didn't want you guys to see that. This is one of the things I didn't like about it.
Attention was paid to Cassia's small
Hold
group.
on. I didn't want this to happen. This is funny. I guess I'll just kick right into battle then. Yeah. What's really cool is you do have these mercenaries that you can kind of change, and they level up over time just from using them. Like the little star designates that they're kind of like higher up in level. I use my swordsmen a lot, so they were the first one to level up. So we're actually not going to fight this battle though, so we're going to go back to the world. So I wanted to give a negative before I give a positive, but anyway. So you can move around in this world, and you can interact with a lot of your places. Some of the places you've already taken over, such as the old ore mine, they don't really do anything for you. Like, you can't go back into them. You get stuff from them that kind of like helps your guys out. Like this guy, like I get sword fighter abilities, things like that. Here doesn't really give me anything, but Lorefest gives me archer stuff, and this gave me stuff for my guys. So what's really cool about the map scenario is that you can get attacked by opposing forces in the map, and you have to fight the battle. And I just thought that was really cool. It's a big difference from the traditional turn-based tactical games I used to play, such as Final Fantasy Tactics and things like that, to where you would go through these old places, and that's how you would re-level up and get more AP and stuff like that. But what's really significant about this game is that you're actively having to attack and defend at the same time, and I love that about this game. I thought that was phenomenal, because it always keeps you on your toes, and it makes you wanting to take certain areas more important. See, like, spear fighters are kind of a big thing. That's a big one to get. Then it's resistance for all your troops, but either way I'd have to work up to it. So it's like, which way do I want to go to get there? And it's definitely a way to keep you moving and thinking, even in the world map. Like I said, graphically it's nothing too crazy. They do have that nice artistic design. It's pretty cool. A very not really sprawling map, but there are different avenues to get all over and stuff like that. So I like it. It's pretty nice. The next thing that we are going to go into is the camp. So the camp scenario, and this is pretty much the same when you go to bigger towns and things like that. This is where you would do all your storyline interactions with your party and things like that, and where you can buy equipment, check out your mercenaries, increase your stats, and even interrogate people, which I thought is really cool. So one of the really cool things about Blackguards 2 is that it is extremely in-depth, not really extremely, it's a pretty in-depth storyline. Sometimes there's plot holes, and I'm a huge plot hole fan. Like, my story needs to be locked on point, no holes, nothing bad. Everything just needs to flow, and that's kind of some of the problems I've had with Blackguards 2. As an example, the main character, who is this fine-looking lady with the spider right here, uh, she is... She just miraculously knows all this stuff. And she just has this connection to everything that's not fully explained, and it gives it to you slowly over time, but it's like, it's not, like, I don't know, I thought it was kind of like a little willy-nilly with how they're putting it together, because, like, there wasn't really any setup to why she was cast out and put into the dungeon, which, I mean, they start revealing those details later on, but it's like, I don't know. Like, at the beginning cinematic, they kill her cat, and she's just thrown out, and you're like, why is all this happening? What does it matter? Why do I care, pretty much? She finds a book. I don't know. It's just kind of like, there's nothing really investing me in the characters. And I kind of get the same with a lot of these also.
I've been wondering about this for quite some time.
The voice acting is actually pretty good.
Why
I like the voice acting in this game.
Your marriage, I mean.
Marwan wanted me marriage. I'll abol.
So, anyway. A lot of times when you're interacting, you have a lot of different points, kind of like, and this is another one of my fathers. This game is graphically beautiful when you're doing the battles and things like that, but when you're talking to people and in this camp thing, like, that little arrow, I mean, the art director could have definitely had been like, hey, let's make it more, because I mean, right around the edges, they have these, like, in this nice kind of like border. It looks alright, and then they just have a less than sign, or a greater than sign. And you're like, you couldn't have done a little bit more art stuff for that. No matter, those are like little small graphical things, and just like the little elements that kind of take you out of the story, okay? Let's see, what was that? What else was going on? Okay, yeah, so there's a whole bunch of these little stories that you can click on and interact with all your people. And every one of these are those little stories that you can interact with people in your party. This is your training people, and
Ready for the next beating?
they're like old masters. One of the other things I really like about this game is how intricate the skill and the skill system is. There are so many skills that you can choose from. So many different spells if you want to be a spellcaster, if you want to be a strictly attacker. There's multiple things you can do, and there's whole trees and talents and weapon talents, and it's very in-depth, and if you are a huge strategy tactical fan, you will love this. But on the other side of that coin, if you are just getting into the strategy and tactics type of genre video games, I do not recommend getting this game until you have at least played one or two other ones, because there's a lot of just look at the swords and sabers. So Cassia, my main character, she has, you can level up her swords and things like that, and she gets points for that, which means she does more damage as she's having a sword. But then on top of that, you can control how aggressive she is with it versus how defensive she is with it, and that actually affects her like offensive variables, which is right here. So that's your chance to hit with the melee weapon. So the more you increase the aggressiveness of the thing, the more like you'll hit with it, but also it severely handicaps your defensive value. So which is your ability to dodge. So like dodging is one of her skills. She's obviously one of my, well, not obviously, she's one of my spellcasters. She's my most powerful spellcaster, and she just goes around wrecking stuff. And look at all the spells that you can have. Just so many, and they all do different stuff like tactically, and I love that about this game. There's one mission where one battle that you're fighting in where you can actually, you have to like run away from these group of people and get through the level, so you can just pull up arcane walls, and then they have to go like around in a really long way. And I absolutely love that about this game. That is taking the tactical to the max and is phenomenal. But like I'm saying, if you are new to tactical strategy games, this is going to be a mess for you, and you're not going to have a good time. And some of the there's a couple bugs, maybe not bugs, but glitches or something like that sometimes too, when you're like getting talents or special maneuvers and spells. What it normally should do is when you click on it, let's say we'll say train, and then you go to something else, it'll be like, What it's supposed to do is say, hey, are you sure you want that ability? And what it's not doing is that. See, like, it automatically got that ability. There's no way to go around it. But now if I want to level up, do I want to save it? Absolutely not. I didn't even want that ability in the first place. But see, I have it now, and there's no way I can go against it because it's a trained skill now. And there's no way to undo it if I accidentally clicked or anything like that. And, like, again, it was a really easy click that just came automatic. It's not like I had to hover over it to get the train to come up. And now I'm just wasting AP right now. Good thing that this isn't my main save. So that's just one of the, like I'm saying, brilliantly, very tactical, not brilliantly, but very tactical, just phenomenally strategic. There's so many elements, but also there's bugs and glitches that if you're new to the game, you don't really know what you're doing, you're gonna have a bad time. Okay. One of the really cool things that I liked about this when it comes to the camp is that you can interrogate people and have like storyline stuff that can change the way you go about doing things in the game. And there's actually multiple ways to end the game and go and conduct business in the game. And that's one of the things that I really like about this is that I'm a huge fan of like the Mass Effect games where your decisions count and they matter. And that's kind of what they were trying to do with this. And that's really what you want in a role-playing game of any kind. So we can go and interrogate this prisoner.
Yes.
And she talks, and you get another great sampling of this excellent voice acting. And then you can start interrogating her, and you can use different people to interrogate with her, and like it affects your how things go on.
You think you're least
See, like,
from now on?
Well, shall we hang them?
What for?
you can hang them,
To let them go would...
stuff like that. And this is another thing where we can hang them, we can let them go. But see, if I had used
and from
the other guy,
now
I've already
on,
done this
never take
before
more prisoners
successfully.
than we can
If
carry.
I'd used the other guy instead of that guy, we would have gotten the information we wanted out of her, and the game would have been a little bit differently. So next we will go into the battle, and then I will go over my overall opinion of this game. So we're gonna get into a battle, and you guys are gonna see the beautifully detailed landscapes and battles that they have. Let's see what's at this one. I love sword fighters, so we're gonna try to go for this one. I'm not gonna do the whole battle because this will probably take a little while.
The silent legion marched without a sound. No word.
Yep. Great in-betweens, no lagging, page flipping, cool element, very cool. Like I said, I like my swordsman. Eventually, when you get more heroes, you can choose between them. So the start of the combat is always going to be unit placement, and that's a lot of games like Final Fantasy Tactics, Hoshigami, where you didn't really have a lot of ability to place your units. You pretty much did. It's like the same thing, honestly, to be honest. It is. There's only like a couple battles in some of those games where you couldn't really select your units. What your units can see is a huge determiner on what like, they can actually do.
What are we doing?
So like you'll have like a spell limit,
It's on
but
our way. And I
like
won't
boxes and
miss.
things will go away. So
On
unit
the way
placement is
to
huge. This game is
work.
extremely tactical, and it is just like I absolutely love that about this game is that they spent a lot of time working on the tactics of the game. Of look, I can't shoot anything past that guy, these boxes, these people, these boxes, and I think that is just absolutely wonderful. The graphics are beautiful. One of the most stunning tactical games I've ever seen. They really have like a life to this game. I mean, yes, I'm pretty sure this is. I don't think it's 3D rendered. It looks kind of 2D-ish, a little bit. It's probably 3D rendered. I don't know. I'm not a game developer. I don't know what I'm doing. I just like to play games and review them. So now one of the bugs that I have with this is that sometimes like I can change the pitch, and I can have a blast changing that pitch. Look at that, pitch changing. That's going on real time right now, guys. But one of the problems I have is that you can't, like, I can't move. This is my view. I can change the height of the view, but I can't like see the other side of this really cool looking thing, or look at the other side of the map, and I don't like that, like, at all. I like to have full control of the environment, being able to see and things like that. And to be honest, it just doesn't feel, it kind of takes me out of the element again. Combat and So you have this giant wheel that allows you to do things like grab items on your belt, change your weapon sets, do spells like good spells, bad spells, cast defensing spells, damaging spells, attacking, using items near you, cover, all like so many things. So we're gonna do a spell real quick actually. We're gonna kill this guy. Because she's super powered. So spells are pretty they're pretty gorgeous. They have like the nice little area effects. They don't really do anything, it just looks fancy. Then you have your units that can attack. One of the issues I have that I found is that I have one guy that has double attack. He can attack with 2 weapons, and he only ever attacks with one, even when I use the special ability of doing double attack. And that really bothers me, because I feel like that's a glitch, and I should get double damage and use the stamina, which is how the fighter people are able to do their abilities. It uses stamina, yet it only does 1 attack. And it's the same damage as if I just normally attacked without using stamina, and that makes me angry. Not like crazy angry, but it kind of like makes me not want to just not use that guy. Another cons is that sometimes you'll get glitches in here where like it'll keep bugs, glitches, where it'll keep wanting somebody to do something and that guy won't even be on the team anymore. Like sometimes they'll ask for Takate to do something, and that's later on when you get more characters or you don't have Takate with you, it'll be like, hey, Takate needs to move, and you're like, well, this is kind of not fun anymore. And you have to restart your computer. I haven't gotten any freezes or anything like that, which is excellent. But, I don't know, just little things like that kind of bother me. Once again, though, it is an amazingly tactical game, and a lot of these missions that you play, it's like, you can't win if you just try to fight people. You actually have to try to position yourself in ways where you have to get to a point within a certain amount of time or within so many turns or things like that. And that's, one of the reasons I like that is because it's not always fun to just keep doing the same thing over and over again, fighting the same guys, doing the same abilities. I want to actually use strategy and tactics, and this is what that's really good for. So, we will now get out of this combat. You guys have seen spell, seen attack. There's range units in this thing as well, and they suffer from the same what they're able to see problem, and also range issues. We're gonna go to the main menu though, and I'll give you my overall. So overall, I would rate this game probably a 7 out of 10, and here's my reasoning. This game is amazingly beautiful. Probably one of the best tactical RPG games, turn-based tactical RPG games I've ever seen. Just phenomenally gorgeous environment, detail, things like that. But sometimes you can run into like overall glitches that make it an issue. The tactic system is beautiful, but sometimes you'll hit some of those like the tactic system is great. There's so many elements to it. It's very advanced, very in-depth, but sometimes you'll hit glitches when you're trying to do things as well. The world map is nice. It's very artistic. I love how the computer is trying to attack you and do its own thing to retake its territory and stuff like that, and you have to work with that and work against it, and I like that. Not really any glitches on the world map, but it's still good. Camp-wise, it seems like every city is kind of the same. You don't really get a huge difference. I mean, there's some like little different characters in there, but they're like smaller characters. They're not as big of a deal. There's a very in-depth story, but story with plot holes. Elements that just don't make sense or don't fit together. But overall, I would recommend this game, especially if you're a fan of the Dark Eyes tabletop game. You will absolutely love this game. But if you are looking for a locked solid AAA title that's just phenomenal, amazing, 10 out of 10, this is not that game. But it is still a really good game. Like I'm saying, the glitches are just a problem for me. The story holes, the plot elements sometimes are a problem for me. And that's just the type of character I am. But if you are looking for an in-depth tactical game, this is your game, and this is probably the best one you're gonna get for your money. There are glitches, but it's not enough to where it makes it not worth the purchase. But anyway, thank you guys for listening to my review, and I hope it really helped you decide if you're going to get it or not. Either way, play Blackguards 2. Thank you very much. Have a good day.